Most of us like milestones. They give us something clear to point to: a promotion, a breakthrough, an answered prayer. Milestones feel solid. They remind us that something significant happened, and we can say, God did that. But faith is rarely built at the milestones. It is built in between them. It grows during the long stretches of ordinary days, the weeks when nothing seems to change, the seasons when prayers feel quiet and the road ahead looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. And that's where faith is most tested, not in action, but in waiting. Action feels powerful. When we're doing something, we feel useful and we feel engaged. We feel like we're partnering with God. There's energy in the movement and satisfaction in progress. Waiting is something different. Waiting removes the sense of control. When nothing is moving, we can't rely on effort or strategy. We're left with something far more difficult: trust. Between milestones, there's usually no applause, no clear progress, no visible proof. Yet, that is often when God's work, his deepest work, happens. Seed doesn't break the soil the moment it's planted. Roots grow in the dark, quietly, invisibly, strengthening what will eventually appear above the surface. And waiting works the same way in our lives. It exposes what we really believe about God. Do we trust him only when the sea is parting and miracles are obvious? Or do we trust him when the landscape looks the same every day? Waiting forces us to live without visible evidence. And that's where faith becomes deeper. Patience grows in that delay. Humility grows in uncertainty. And trust grows when we choose to believe that God is working even when we cannot see it. In many ways, faith is like golf. The highlights, the long drive or the perfect putt, well, they're memorable, but they don't define the entire round. Most of the game is steady, patient rhythm, walking between the shots, resetting your focus, trusting your process. Golf punishes urgency. It rewards steadiness. Faith works in much the same way. Life with God isn't a constant highlight reel. It's a long walk between the markers. And often the most important growth happens in those quiet stretches. Waiting tests us more than action because it asks for surrender instead of effort. It asks us to trust God without immediate results. But the truth is, God wastes nothing. Not the silence, not the delay, not the uncertainty. He is strengthening roots. So if you find yourself in a season where nothing dramatic seems to be happening, don't assume that God is absent. You may be exactly where faith is being formed. Because sometimes the most important milestone isn't what God does next. It's who you become while you wait. If you're in a season where faith feels slow, subscribe. This channel is for people playing the long game of faith. Faith is a long game. Stick with it.